Hello friends, today we are going to study socialist economy. Before going for socialist economy, let's understand to have a comparison what is capitalist economy. So, an economy where means of production are in the hands of private hand and where the most important motive is profit making is capitalist economy. I gave you definitions so that you can have a comparative analysis between socialist economy and capitalist economy. At the end of this entire series, we are going to have a complete comparison between capitalist economy and socialist economy. We are going to study that part also. So here today we are going to study what is the meaning of socialist economy. So what is the definition of socialist economy? Before going in the theoretical definition of socialist economy, here I want to tell you one simple line. When means of production are owned by people, are owned by society, is a socialist economy. I repeat once again, when means of production like land, water, minerals, forest, wildlife are owned by state or they are owned by society, it is called as socialist economy or it is called as a socialism. Or in simple term, it is a means or it is a socializing process. Socialist economy or socialism is a socializing process where the means of production, first thing, means of distribution and exchange are taken for the purpose of social benefit of the society. In socialist economy, prime motive is social benefit, not private benefit. I repeat once again, in socialist economy, the most important objective is social benefit and not private benefit. This is the most important objective. It is the socialist economy. It is also called as centrally governed economy or command and control economy. Why it is so? Because in socialist economy, the central government or the state machinery has complete control over all resources, over all means of production, over entire property. State is the main controller and main planner of entire economic system, so it is also called as command and control economy. It has dominance of public sector enterprises. They are also called as PSUs. You must be knowing PSU. What are PSUs? PSUs are government owned companies. I repeat once again, PSUs also called as PSEs, right? PSU, public sector undertaking. PSE, public sector enterprises. So PSUs or PSEs are government owned companies. Unlike capitalist economy, here in socialist economy there is dominance of government owned companies. Institutions are owned by government on behalf of public. Prices are decided by government, which are called as administered prices. Like if you ask your father, they will tell you that before 1990s even the prices of cement, steel and every other commodity was decided by government of India, like petrol, kerosene, diesel, cement, steel, everything was decided by government of India. Slowly over a time period we decontrol the prices of these goods and services and we are moving towards liberalization, privatization and globalization. It is also called as command and control planning. Command and control planning means entire planning is done by government keeping in mind the priorities and objectives of the government. Industries or private players have least say in planning of the government's policies, government's objectives, government priorities. Government set its own priorities based on its own ideology. Government forces the companies and industries and institutions to take steps and measures to fulfill the priorities and policies of the government of that particular government. Government decides about the establishment, location, production, distribution and prices of all goods and services. That's why it is also called as command and control economy, where everything is in the hands of the government. But why it is in the hands of the government? Because government says its motive is welfare of the society, its motive is welfare of the people. It focuses on production as well as distribution of all goods and services. It aims that all goods and services must be equally distributed among the societies. Welfare of the society is the prime objective of socialist economy. Unlike capitalist economy, where profit maximization is the prime objective, in socialist economy, welfare of the society is the prime objective. Socialist economies favor abolition of private ownership. It says entire ownership should lies in the hands of the people, and on behalf of people it should be in the hands of the state. So state is the owner of all private things, all resources on behalf of people. So socialist economy do not favor private ownership, it favors ownership of the people, but on behalf of people it is state who owns the means of production in the economy. Now, what is the nature of India? What is the nature of Indian economy, and how Indian economy can be called as a socialist economy, and how we shifted from socialist economy to capitalist economy? First thing, the word socialism was not there in original constitution. The word socialism was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. This 42nd Amendment Act is also called as mini constitution. Avadi session of Indian National Congress. Avadi is located in Tamil Nadu, it is near Chennai. So this Avadi session of Indian National Congress, it passed a resolution and it said it wants to establish a socialistic pattern of society in India. So Avadi session of Indian National Congress for the first time said that they want to establish a socialistic pattern of society in India. Also, Indian Constitution contains a very important part which is DPSP. DPSP stands for Directive Principles of State Policy. DPSP is given in part 4 of the Indian Constitution. DPSP aims at establishing a socio-economic democracy. DPSP aims at establishment of a socio-economic democracy. It has one very important article, which is Article 39, which tries to talk about socio-economic democracy. Now, what is given in Article 39? We will have a brief look. See, Article 39B, it says there should be equitable distribution of means of production. See, whenever we look around us, we see that there is unequitable distribution of means of production. In means of production, the most important means is land. Few people have surplus land, whereas some people are landless. So the people who are without a single ounce of land, they feel that an injustice has been made on them. So when there is unequal allocation of land amongst the people, a sense of injustice remains in the mind of people. So what Constitution says? Constitution says there should be equitable distribution of means of production. It means land should be equitably distributed among the people, for which we started land reforms. You must aware about this. We started land reform when government formed in 1950s itself. We started land reform. Main objective of land reform was to have land ceiling. That is, a person cannot hold land beyond a certain limit, and whatever surplus land is there, this surplus land shall be distributed among the people who are without any land, who are landless people. It means we are trying to establish a justice through distribution of surplus land from one section of the people to other section of people. So Article 39B, it promotes distributive justice. I repeat once again, through Article 39B, we aim at establishment of a justice through a distribution of land amongst the people, through distribution of surplus land from people holding higher land to people who are without any land. It is a distributive justice. Now once you have land, then you start earning the money, right? You start earning the money. Whatever money earned you start concentrating that money in certain ways, and it becomes an wealth. So what Article 39C it says? It says prevention of concentration of wealth in the hands of few people. I repeat once again, 39C says there should be prevention of concentration of wealth in the hands of few people. It means what government says, those people who have higher wealth, who have higher concentration of wealth, must be taxed more. That's why we have progressive taxation in our economy. What is progressive taxation? People who earn more shall be taxed more. People who earn less shall be taxed less, so that government shall collect more taxes from rich and super rich people, and the tax that is collected by government shall again be used for welfare scheme, for social sector initiative, for benefit of the people, for downtrodden weaker section of the society. It means government is again making an attempt to create justice among the society through redistribution of resources from rich and super rich people towards the poor people, which is the objective of Article 39C. So Article 39C aims at redistributive justice. I repeat once again, Article 39B, it aims at distributive justice. Article 39C, it aims at redistributive justice. These two are very, very important point. 39B, distributive justice. Article 39C, redistributive justice. What it says? It says that there should not be any concentration of wealth in the hands of few people, which is redistributive justice. Now, here we will try to understand two types of socialism or two types of socialist economy. One is state socialism. It is also called as Marxian socialism. This concept was promoted by, or we can say this concept came from the writings of Karl Marx. So what state socialism there? It says when means of production are owned by state. Here look or listen very carefully. Here means of productions are owned by state on behalf of people is a state socialism. We have seen what is socialist economy. An economy where means of productions are in the hands of people, are in the hands of society, is a socialist economy. So what state socialism says? It says when means of production are in the hands of state on behalf of people is a state socialism. It means in state socialism, state is all powerful. Second is democratic socialism, which we have in India. We have democratic socialism in India, and partly we have state socialism. Democratic socialism is also called as Gandhian socialism. Why? It was the dream of Mahatma Gandhi that people should be the owner of their own fate, should be the owner of their own resources. Now, what is definition of democratic socialism? When means of production are owned by people, see the difference. Here means of productions are owned by state. Here means of productions are owned by people, and state act as a facilitator. This is very, very important. Here state act as a facilitator. Here state act as a owner. Here state act as a facilitator to make people own the means of production is a democratic socialism. So in case of India, we are a mix of Marxian socialism and Gandhian socialism, inclined towards Gandhian socialism. That is, whenever question of Indian economy comes, remember in case of India, Gandhian socialism is more dominant over Marxian socialism. We'll have a just brief revision of all the points once again. See, what was the first thing? We have seen definition. What is socialist economy? An economy where means of production are owned by society or people or state is a socialistic economy. We have seen this definition. It is also called as command and control economy. Here it is dominance of public sector enterprises. Here institutions are owned by government on behalf of people. Then these are certain points. Welfare of the society is prime objective. Private ownership is not favored by socialist economies. They favor people's ownership, and on behalf of people, it is state who should own all the resources. Socialist economy in India. These are few factual points. The word socialism was added into the Indian Constitution by 42nd Amendment Act. Audi session of Indian National Congress in the 1955 said we wants to establish an Indian society based on socialistic pattern. DPSP promotes socio-economic democracy. Article 39B, it talks about distributive justice. Article 39C, it talks about redistributive justice. The example of Article 39B is land reform. The example of Article 39C is progressive taxation. We have seen state socialism, where state is owner of means of production. We have seen democratic socialism where people are owner of means of productions and state act as a facilitator. And India is a mix of Gandhian and Marxian socialism leaning heavily towards Gandhian socialism. Thank you very much. Keep watching and keep sharing the lectures. Thank you very much.